Hi, I'm TJ, and this is Home with TJ. Um, Today, my son had a doctor's appointment, and I didn't really have the time to record or do anything really. So I guess it's a little late now, and I gotta keep a little quiet. Also, my wife is here, and I've never really recorded with her here, and I'm a little embarrassed, I guess. But anyway, um, to start off, I want to say that I was very wrong about wearing linen. And I used to work at a men's warehouse, and I wasn't a huge fan of linen because I always thought it was always like super scratchy, and the people that would buy it, they were always older, or yeah, they just weren't really younger. They were always. We used to rent out it was a it was a tan linen suit, and people would rent the suit out so they can go get married in it. And at the time I was like 19, 20, and people would rent out this suit, and it was crazy to me because I was like, dude, you're gonna get married in that. Fast forward, it's crazy that linen is probably one of the most comfiest things that I've worn, like, in my life at this point, especially living here in Arizona where it gets, really freaking hot. And yeah, I just thought it was crazy that I really underestimated linen. So I've been switching between couple pairs of shorts and everything too. But another thing that I really underestimated was a good pair of pajamas. You know, um as a normal guy, I would say that most of us wear like, basketball shorts, maybe a shirt to sleep, or we use like some pajama pants, like the maybe some sweats, some plaid pants, something like that, something a little more normal. But it wasn't until my son was born that my wife decided she was going to gift me my first real pair of higher end, higher quality, we'll say that, higher quality pajama set. And even though we have, you know, when she gifted them to me, he was a newborn still, but even now, he's 6 months, and he doesn't necessarily sleep through the night anymore like he would earlier on. But um when I use these pajamas, I don't get any better sleep. It's crazy. And if I were going to recommend to anybody, I would definitely recommend getting some modal pajamas for sure. And it'll definitely change the quality of sleep you get. Something as little as the thing you're wearing, it definitely makes a difference, especially if you're like a hot sleeper or a cold sleeper or anything like that, or you don't like a lot of blankets, or you do, or you overheat with a lot of blankets, but you like being covered all the way. Um, yeah, the fabrics and everything like that. I definitely recommend getting a higher quality um, set of pajamas, or just something to sleep in. Anyway, this is Home with TJ. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube. I'm also on TikTok. So if you guys can give me a like, comment, follow, subscribe, if you're on Spotify, give me a 5-star rating. I would appreciate it. This way I get seen a little bit more, and that'd be pretty cool for me. Yeah, like I said, my son just had a doctor's appointment today, so that took up most of the morning and everything. Um, it was his 6-month appointment, so he got a few vaccines, and I know a lot of people aren't very fond about getting their children vaccinated, but in my opinion, my so humble opinion, I guess, um, nothing happened to me, nothing happened to my wife, and they do a lot of testing and everything, and for some reason these get approved and they're getting pushed out. Um, Specifically, I don't I don't necessarily want to say that I'm all for vaccines, because there's some that I feel like that you don't need. But, there's some where I feel like there's no reason why you shouldn't. do it because they've been around for so long, and the chances that somebody really has like a reaction or that they cause anything, it's could be low. But no matter where you go, you're going to find research that's going to back up the opposing side, where this vaccine causes this and everything. So I feel like if you're going to do it, or if you're not going to do it, I guess do it with the I don't know, just better intentions in your heart to protect your child, which is something that I feel like is the most important thing. And if you feel like you gotta withhold a vaccine, or you feel like you need to give it, that's fine. Um, I don't know, just have the best intention is all I can say, really. But I'm not far left, far right on if you should or shouldn't vaccinate at all. But um, yeah, and then after his appointment, we went to eat. We went to Whataburger, and it was good, but they put onions on my freaking burger, man. And I'm not necessarily like picky anymore, but I order it specifically because when you order your food or something, you want it exactly how you want it. Uh, excuse me, but I don't know. I've never had issues ordering it before, but recently I've had a lot of issues when I order. I usually get only specific ingredients on there, and for some reason now it's just not going right. I don't know what's going on. But I will say that even though they did add one extra thing that I didn't mind on there, but I just didn't want it added on there, pretty much, is that I think Whataburger's consistently the best burger place that I can that I would go to, and I know there's a lot of like In and Out people, Smash Burger people. I know there's no Burger King people, obviously. Nobody freaking eats a Burger King anymore. But um, even what Hardee's, Carl's Jr., Rallies, I'm a big fan of Rallies too. But I feel like Whataburger's consistently the one that always delivers on like good food, and doesn't necessarily taste like cardboard the second so the second it comes off and after you sit down and everything. And that is definitely a knock on In and Out, because I'm not a huge fan of In and Out. But I will say that if you need if you're hungry or anything, you can go to Whataburger 24/7 and you can get whatever you want at any time. So I'm just saying that Whataburger is a superior, and In and Out's definitely not. Um, but those are like the major chains and everything. And we tried Smash Burger for the first time a few weeks ago. And honestly, I wasn't too no, I wouldn't say that. I was definitely surprised that how good it was. I was surprised that we haven't tried it before, because it's everywhere. It's very popular, and a lot of people try to copy that style of burger. And I don't know, I was really impressed. They had like these rosemary fries or something. I don't know. It was pretty good. But I would definitely stick Whataburger number one still, no matter what. And I had a bunch of friends in high school, and they had this running joke where I worked at Whataburger, but I worked at a Men's Warehouse instead. So they were like, um, they would always like send me their order. I'm like, dude, I work at Men's Warehouse. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was something I would always think back on. Whataburger's always kind of been there, always been pretty good. So, um, but yeah, back to these like comfy, being comfy and everything. Wearing linen and all that. I thought it was gonna be like super itchy, but it's definitely not. It's a lot more breathable, and I don't know if it's just the the cut that I have, the brand, whatever it is, but I don't need a whole lot of like flexibility to wear these. I have all the functionality I need, so I would definitely recommend you get some Old Navy jogger linen, shorts. They're freaking great, and especially living here in Arizona, it gets like really hot, and it's been very drastic this year, just like it is every year. But normally I'd be walking around wearing like jeans, um, and then I ended up getting into like hybrid shorts, which were like they were the material that dries quickly, but it has like pockets and everything, so you could wear it to like you could wear them out and everything still, but it had the netting and everything in case you were to like like board shorts kind of, and those are comfy too. But honestly, um, linen's the way to go, man. I swear, I can't get enough of it. Um, yeah, back to back to parenting too. He's my son. He hasn't been sleeping very good for a while. He back when he was like 2 months, he would give us full night's sleep. He did that for a few weeks, and when we ended up switching his food, and he definitely didn't take to it very well, I would say, because that's when he started waking up multiple times a night again. Um, he'll sprinkle like maybe one or two nights every few weeks or so, but that was one of the things that we brought up. And then my doctor, he not my doctor, his doctor, which is funny because um, the pediatrician that he has was my pediatrician and was my one of my older siblings' pediatrician also. So this guy's been around for a very long time, and if he gives any advice, it's definitely spot on. I haven't received any kind of information from him that's been off. Um, so he gave us the recommendation to if we really want to get get some sleep, get some good sleep, to try not necessarily sleep training, but um I guess it would be kind of sleep training, or letting him cry it out a little bit for just a short amount of time. He said start out with 15 minutes, start out with 30 minutes, however my son is feeling and all that, and just kind of go from there. But he definitely recommended that he not he not stay with like grandparents or anybody else, because as soon as he makes a noise, they're gonna run and pick him up. And I agree that that's what's gonna happen. And to be honest, that's what happens with us. Because he's our firstborn. We don't necessarily like to let him cry it out. We've my wife and I, we both have the same thought that a crying child, or yeah, a crying child needs comforting. Children need comforting and everything too. So, um, don't get me wrong though, I do feel like they need to learn a little bit too, that it's okay. But I know babies, they have like the separation kind of anxiety thing going on. So when they wake up in the middle of the night and they don't feel you or anything, that's when they have their response, they cry and everything, they wake up. But when they lose that, that's when they definitely learn, the whole self-soothing and everything like that. And I know a lot of people, they load up the bottles with cereal. They call it like a knockout bottle or something like that. And that's fine too. I'm not going to say we haven't done it before, but it does help, but it doesn't put them out the entire night or anything, or it doesn't put them down any differently. So it's not the most practical thing, I would say, at this point right now. But I definitely think that one of these days I do want to try to try to give him that 30 minutes, try to take the extra 30 minutes to let him try and figure it out himself a little bit, and kind of learn to self-soothe himself, because I feel like at this rate he's not going to, if we don't do anything about it. And me being a stay-at-home dad, I feel like uh since I'm mostly the one getting up because my wife does work, I want her to be rested. So I try to make sure that I'm the one that's always getting up, so she's rested, and so she doesn't make her any errors at her job, because it's very high risk. Um, it takes a huge toll, because I have to be, not necessarily conscious, but I have to be like coherent. I have to be okay. It's a whole life I'm taking care of at this point. And it's tough when it's already tough enough with broken sleep, and it's tough enough when you go a very long time without a good sleep, and I feel like recently I've had maybe one or two here or there, but it does get tiring. It gets very taxing on your body and everything. Um, it goes back to like a few weeks ago, I started the like a fitness challenge a little bit where I wanted to be active for at least like 20 minutes a day, but I didn't have the time. I was tired, which they're all excuses, and I wasn't really feeling good or anything either. I ended up actually getting pretty sick because we took our son to a swim class, and he ended up getting sick because some other child was brought to the class. They were sneezing and everything, so um, I ended up catching like some kind of cold, and then after I got over, my son ended up catching it right afterwards. So um, I didn't really have the time, and I never really got the chance to like rest, recover in a way. On my wife's days off, she was able to help me out. She was the main one taking care of my son for those days, and I was able to recover slow at a slower pace. But you know getting sleep is something that everybody told me that I would miss when we initially got pregnant or anything. And I can completely agree with that. I don't remember the last time I had a really good sleep. And as much as I just talked about having a good pair of pajamas and everything like that, um you know getting the hours you need to actually hit all your sleep cycles, it's important. And I think I saw somewhere where it's you want to either sleep less than 25 minutes or over 3.5 hours. And at first with a newborn, you have to you're waking up every 2 hours to feed and change and everything. Or they just don't want to sleep, they're just kind of fussy or anything like that. And it's been broken sleep since he got here. It's like I feel like other parents would agree with that one too. And I feel like it gets very hard. The I think it's probably one of the things that's been the hardest of being a parent is the lack of sleep and having to deal with it too. It's rough because we're not going to let it. We don't want to leave him uncomforted. We want to comfort him because he's our son, he's our firstborn. And like I said, we both, my wife and I, we both feel like children just need to be comforted. That's just what it is. You don't want to not comfort them. It's something that they deserve. It's not their fault. It's not their fault why they're feeling the way they are. But we, as their parents, adults, and everything, um, we can help them. We can care for them, and I feel like there's other ways aside from just letting them cry it out. I think I tried this other way. It's called the pick up, put down method, where um, as soon as they cry for a little bit, give them a few minutes, and then you pick them up for about a minute, put them back down, and you just kind of keep repeating that for so long, and eventually they'll associate the bed with comfort and everything like that too, because you're willingly putting them there at the while they're crying still, or after you soothe them, that's where they go. And I see a lot of people too. They do this thing where they put the baby, they put their baby just wide awake, just in their bed, which is fine, if that works for them. But our son is not like that. He's very active. He likes to roll, do a lot of like talking. He likes to move, and he I feel like at that point he'd be very like distracted. And I know eventually, he'd just tire himself out and probably fall asleep. But yeah, I just don't think it would I don't think it would really be very efficient to get him to sleep. It is the wake windows and everything. They're very, I don't know. They're not wide, but there's a time and place for all of it. And I feel like with babies and everything, missing that window can lead to like being overtired, which makes it even more difficult to put them down. So I don't know. I feel like some kind of sleep training is necessary at some point, but it's just hard. As a parent, I just don't want to. You don't want your child to cry or anything like that. You don't want them to be upset or anything. So you just want to have that. You just want to comfort them, and I feel like that's something that they deserve. Um, but yeah, I watched not the whole thing, but I just saw some clips of the the tank fight. They had the press conference today, and I swear when they did the face off and they made um I think Tank made the other dude flinch, and I swear I don't think I've seen that happen before. Especially like on like professional boxing, they always want to be like tough or anything like that. But I feel like um they say that this dude was like scared, and I can see it. I feel that Tank is gonna knock this dude out. I also feel like Tank's one of the best fighters in that weight division anyway, but I am also just a casual viewer. I don't train or anything like that. I got a heavy bag in the backyard, and when I first got it, I was very content. I really wanted to do a lot more like workouts and everything back there, but the reality of it was that we live in Arizona and it was hot. And at the time, I was working nights. Oh, not nights, but like evening. I was working like second shift, so I'd get home around maybe anywhere between like 10 and 12, and I would work out at the night when it was cooler, and my wife would also work out at the same time because she was in school, and it was just easier for her to do it at the same time too. Yeah, I haven't been able to do any of that because, you know, baby and everything, but it's just too hot. It's just way too hot out here, and I've been wanting to put it in the garage for some time now, but we also don't have any space in there. I built a couch from scratch, not from scratch, like not in like cut down no trees or anything, but I built a couch. I did the upholstery and everything, the framing and all that, and it was in the baby's room. But eventually, I ended up taking it out just because it is now the baby's room. So now it's just sitting in the garage wrapped up this way. If I were to sell it, get rid of it or anything, it'd be clean. But that's taken up all of the space in the garage right now at this point. And if I can get rid of it, honestly, I wouldn't be too upset. It was nice while it lasted, and it was a good experience. But I definitely have my notes that I would make the couch differently next time. Um, but yeah, I've been wanting to put the heavy bag in the backyard, not the backyard. Take the heavy bag from the backyard, put it in the garage, and kind of make like a little home gym or something like that. This way, it would be a lot easier to have all of our workout stuff consolidated, really. And I've been talking about business ideas and things that I want to do or things that I've been thinking about doing. And one of the things that I think about a lot is like interior design or like flipping houses or something like that. Being the person that changes the floor plan or designs it for selling or anything like that. And I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm really interested in those kinds of things. So I feel like it'd be right up my alley for like a side hustle, something like that, whenever I get some time. Um, but anyway, yeah, I think Tank's gonna knock the dude out. I'm pretty sure David Benavidez is gonna win too, but I I've expressed my thoughts about David Benavidez previously, and I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest. Again, this is my Stanley dupe, my tall, and I'll plug this until the day I die. His water bottle is going to keep me hydrated, just like any other cup. So, to all those kids out there that think you need a Stanley, you don't. Sorry. Um, yeah, David Benavidez is a freaking weight bully. Doesn't belong in his weight classes. He's teased plenty of times that he's going to go to move to heavyweight. Doesn't belong there. And you know, he was on the Pound for Pound podcast with Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman, and it was a lot of they did a good amount of like shit talking about Canelo, excuse my language, I'm sorry. But, it's they say he's running, that he needs the fight, he earned the fight, which, I don't disagree. He did earn the fight. He went through his eliminators, he won his fights. But at the same time, this dude's on an undercard and um he doesn't sell out arenas for sure. The this weekend, I'm pretty sure Tank's the one that's going to sell it out. Nobody cares about David Benavidez. And I feel like I've said it before and I'll stick by it that, you know, Canelo doesn't need David Benavidez. David Benavidez needs Canelo, and he's chasing the paycheck just like everybody else. And it's kind of sad, you know, especially when you have other options, especially because he's been offered other fights at 175. He's teased it. He trains with people at higher weight classes. He walks around naturally at a higher weight, and he's training and everything too. So he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't belong at the weight class. Dude's a weight bully. Just plain and simple. It. I think it's like the same thing as like if I don't even know how something to think about if like John Jones wanted to fight Brandon Moreno or something. It's like, well, not necessarily. It's 70-pound difference, but same concept, dude. These people they're weight classes for a reason. And I feel like a lot of the guys that stay closer to their natural weight, they're the ones that do a lot better. You can see it with Max Holloway in his last fight. He fought at 155. And I feel like he hasn't looked better than that. And it's all about training or anything. But he even mentioned in his on his YouTube channel that he he would cut a bunch of weight to get down to the weight class that he was fighting in before because everybody was doing it. But 155, he said, feels a lot healthier for him. He feels better, faster, and stronger. And I feel like the closer you are to your normal weight class, the better your performance is going to be because the weight cut's not going to be, insane. But if, that's how people do it, that's how people do it. And they've done it like that for a long time. But um, I do feel like the dude is really, he's clawing at this fight with Canelo, and dude, he just doesn't. I don't know. He feels confident it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Canelo's done plenty already to, his resume speaks for itself. But I feel like even when I looked up, with amateur fights and everything, Canelo has over 100 fights total, including his amateur fights. And he just fought Jaime Munguia, last couple months ago, last month, something like that. And he has significantly more fights than David Benavidez with um, professionally and amateur, and he's put in the time, he's put in the effort, and I feel like he actually deserved it. But it's like these other dudes that they win a few fights, they fluff up their resume like freaking Devin Haney. Devin Haney doesn't fight anybody reputable. He fought Ryan Garcia, he fought um, George Kambosos and Lomachenko. I don't know any of the other fights. He wasn't going to fight Tank. He wasn't going to fight Tank. He's not going to fight Shakur. He's not going to fight Teofimo Lopez. Maybe he did. I don't know if he did or not. Like I said, I'm a casual. I don't do a whole lot of research or, a whole lot into that, but, um, people just don't belong. And I don't know, people with their blown up resumes and their fight records and everything, it looks nice and all, but the thing that I feel like the difference between the UFC and boxing is like the dudes in the UFC, they're willing to lose that undefeated um that undefeated like aura that they have behind them because they're actually fighting the best in the world, and they have like actual matchmaking, and uh they're all under one roof pretty much. There's not UFC doesn't fight with Bellator or PFL or none of that. They fight the UFC and that's it. And there's nobody better at that point. And I feel like boxing could really benefit from that because, we'd actually get really like actual good boxing matches or, something. But yeah, that Tank fight's this Saturday. I definitely think Tank is going to to knock the other dude out. And then Sunday is going to be my first Father's Day, and unfortunately, however you want to see it. For me, unfortunately, I want to spend Father's Day with my wife and my son. But unfortunately, my wife is going to work, so it's just going to be me and my little guy, which is still okay. Um, I really feel for my dad. Uh, not recently, but within the last a few years back, my grandpa passed away, and I feel like my dad's been it's been really tough on my dad. So seeing him grieve and everything, it's been really rough. And I feel like since my son was born, my dad's had this different light about him where um, I don't know. On my dad's side of the family, there wasn't a lot of babies around, so seeing another, little one of us is, you know, nice. It's a different change. It feels good, and I feel like it's something that everybody didn't didn't expect for sure. But I feel like he definitely, well, him and all the other babies that came around now too, definitely filled the void that we had in our family. And I wear these things. They're like a crochet spiral cord. My grandpa wore it like everywhere. He never he never didn't have something around his neck. There was always like he always wore some kind of lei because he was always celebrating life every day. You wear lei for celebration or for anything really. And he would wear it because he would celebrate life every day. And uh, I feel like it's been tough on my dad without his dad. So hopefully I'll get to spend some time with him also. And yeah, I don't know what else I'm going to be doing. I think that's about it. Um, that's all I really had to say for today. Anyway, my wife she challenged me to do a podcast every day for 7 days, and this is going to be my third day. Um, I'll be posting the next day. So by the time you're seeing this, I'll be talking about yesterday, today. And I know that sounds a little confusing. Probably, I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do it like that. But um, at the time of filming this, it is June 12th. It's a Wednesday, and I'll be posting it on Thursday. So I think this is going to be my third day, and I have 5 more days of posting every single day, recording every day, and hopefully I'll be able to develop some talking skills where I'm not breathing or saying like every other word because I get too excited and I forget to breathe. Um, yeah, so hopefully you keep tuning in. My name is TJ. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube, TikTok at Home with TJ. And thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, see you next time.